So this is a response video to KevJumba's question about whether we can talk to our own parents about sex and sexual health and all that kind of stuff. And to be honest, even for me, a person who has taught sex ed for many years now and have almost on a daily basis talks about sex and sexual health, I still feel really uncomfortable talking to my own parents about it. When I first started to teach sex ed, I never told my parents about what I did, and that was okay because I didn't live in the same city as my parents. But I think it was about a year after I had started to teach when I kind of stumbled upon having to tell them, or I thought that I should tell them. And this is the same story that I told in most of my workshops that I did back when in my second and third year of doing this. And basically the way that I told my dad was, I was driving, he was sitting in the passenger seat. Then he started to ask me, "How is the work?" The work's good. I mean, it keeps me busy. You know, I like it. Still acting teacher でしょ? Yeah, still teaching. Yeah. Teaching is fun, so I like doing that kind of stuff. You know, I'm not teaching acting anymore. Eh? Right? You know that, right? Not acting teacher? Oh, what do you do? New job? I thought that it might be a good idea to tell my dad what I did. Sex? 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 No, I don't just teach sex. I teach, you know, sexual health, teaching how people can, there wasn't really anything else that I could say. So we drove home in that awkward silence. It totally came out the worst way possible, but I did clarify a little bit later on what I actually did in as brief amount of time that I could. I was not in the right frame of mind to be answering that kind of question. I don't like to say the word sex in front of my parents. It's just really awkward. Even for a person who talks about sex every day and as it's part of their job, it can be just as awkward for me as it can be for anybody who wants to talk about sex. And honestly, it can be very awkward for a parent to talk to their kids about sex. They likely never talk to their parents about sex and sexual health and that whole stuff. I do want to say one last thing before I sign off. I just want to say thank you to those parents who can and try to talk to their kids about sex, and I think it's a really important part of a relationship. It can be very awkward, but I also think that if you start young, then it's less awkward as you go along. But it's just being able to talk about it, even for a little bit. I think for me, I think if my parents had started talking to me about sex early on as a kid, I definitely wouldn't feel as uncomfortable as I do now. Because I know some parents and their kids, they're completely comfortable talking about all those different types of things, and I think that's such a healthy relationship to have between a parent and a kid. So thank you to those parents who actually do that and are able to make it comfortable in some way. Sex? Sex?